nenge wathi naku. Wathi woke we muito naku. Hey. Hey everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Kalecha. My name is Kalecha Mumo, and I'm so excited to have you here. Conversations with Kalecha is where love finds its voice, and we talk about different relationship angles, different situations around relationships. And we are on episode 9, which is fantastic because it means we are almost getting to the close of the love stories and family stories series, and then we don't know where we're gonna go next. But if you've missed any of our episodes so far, you can check them out on our socials. You can check them out on YouTube, Spotify, and on AfriPods. Yes, guys, we're on AfriPods, and I'll be telling you exactly how we landed ourselves there because we have a nomination we're excited about. But for today, those of you who may not know how Conversations with Kalecha was born, and you keep seeing this KM Radio and wondering from where. Well, KM Radio was an Instagram live show that was born of the pandemic and that we've been doing for 4 years. We took a break. But while doing that, that is where the podcast Conversations Kalecha was born. And in that particular setting, on that IG live show, I got to meet amazing Kenyans across the world. And today, one of them is in Kenya, from Belgium, and excited to finally meet someone in person. You know, you talk on the internet and you talk on a screen, and now they're here and they're on this show. Oh my God. He calls himself the voice of the African Boychild, which he's going to tell us a little bit about. But here's the part that I'm really interested in. He became a father at 22 years and made a decision to move countries so that he could be an active, present father. Welcome to the show, African Boychild. Shamala, Mambo.
Thank you, Khalid.
It's nice to have you, man.
It's really nice to finally
meet you in person.
Yes.
In person, and then get to ask you this, African Boychild. I mean, do you feel that the Boychild's voice was neglected? It was muted at some point? What about your life maybe made you feel that you need to be that African Boychild's voice?
So for me, what I believe is growing up, as I was born and raised in Kenya, of course.
Yeah.
And I grew up, most of us, we grew up, Amaluya. And we were raised, we normally used to call it the military way.
Oh, right.
Whereby the boy child, we really did not know how to express ourselves, especially frustrations.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to speak out. So as a child, I felt like it's not that I was not courageous, but I just didn't know how to speak out in so many issues.
Yeah.
Because being raised the military way, it means is yes.
To be seen and not
yes,
to be heard.
All you can be heard is yes, okay,
no.
thank you.
Even no
Even
is
no
kidogo.
mostly is very, very, very little, yeah?
Yeah.
So I grew up like that. And in most cases, I used to have inner voices. So I end up talking to myself. If I want to express something, I want to say something, but I can't because I don't know how to. So I end up just talking to myself.
Right.
Now, the problem is the older you grow, the more frustrating it becomes.
Right.
Because as a grown-up, you know a lot of things. You know that you're supposed to speak up.
Express
you're
yourself.
You're supposed to express yourself, but then you don't know how to.
Yeah.
So it becomes more frustrating and more frustrating. And then those voices become more and more.
Yeah.
So actually, at some point, if I have to talk to you, I have to tell you something, and I don't do it, and then I leave the room, I will start talking to myself like,
so you'll say whatever you wanted to say, but to yourself as you go. Let me tell you, the one time I did that, because of course, talking back to your mother, now she followed me. Where I went to stand was like, a glass door. So she could see what I was doing from behind. She was watching the glass window. I was beaten. What? That was the last time I decided to talk in my inner voice. And I said, I'll be talking out forward and respectfully.
Yeah, because me as a child, if I remember very well, I never, not even at once, had like a exchange of words with my parents. Not even once.
Not even
once. Because I remember my mother once said it's so difficult for her to understand me. Because if she asks something, I always say yes or okay. But I never had a confrontation with her, like...
Even to ask?
Never. So,
hey, Shamala, that's a hard way to live. So, because that means that affects your dating life.
Yes, definitely. It did so much.
Yeah.
So the voice of an African boy child. So when around it was also around the pandemic, around Corona time.
Yeah.
I started to be involved a lot with the social media, especially the Instagram.
Yeah.
And then it's at that point that I started to join the Instagram lives. And then I felt more at ease. I was like, okay, here I can talk. People don't really know you, so you can talk freely. But I used to hide on people's stories. So if somebody comes and talks about their story that I relate to, and then I contribute to that, and that way I felt like
You're
opening
opening
up,
up.
and
Okay.
yeah, and then from that, people were like, but Shamala, you're really speaking for the boy child, eh?
So people named
yes,
you.
people say like, you really talk nice issues about the boy child, things that are affecting the boy child.
Yeah.
And somebody said once, you are really the voice of an African boy child.
And that was
And
it.
then
I
became
love it.
the
You were
voice of
named
an
by the
African boy child.
people.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I found intriguing about you over the times that we were doing our Instagram live on KM Radio was, yes, you're speaking for the boy child, but it comes from a place of experience and a place of things you've gone through relationships and having to grow up pretty fast. You became a father at how old?
22.
22.
22.
Now, I know there are very many young Gen Zs who are like, even to hear about becoming a father, they're off.
Okay.
And most guys disappear. But you were a campus student, you became a father, but your baby mom, it was not in Kenya, was not a Kenyan. What was the story behind that?
Yeah, so the story behind it is I was at Kenyatta University. I was actually doing theater arts and film production.
Oh, awesome.
And then I was a first year student, but then I was dating my baby mama then, but she was Belgian.
Okay.
So she was normally coming in and out
of a country.
Of the country.
Yeah.
So that year she was in the country for 1 year. We were staying together for like 1 year. Then she became pregnant, and then she decided to go back
to have the
because
baby
it was for her. She preferred having the baby there.
Without
yes,
there's so many things
course,
that a child is covered for.
So many pros for that. Yeah. So she decided to go back. Then by then, when the child was born, after 6 months, she traveled back with the kid, and she brought the kid here. I was seeing him for the first time.
Wow, at 6 months.
Yes, and then it was very exciting. It was like the game changer for me because I was like, I really want to be present. I want to be with him.
And that was how you decided you're going to pack your things and go to another country?
Yes. The problem was, okay, I was still doing school. And I was like, okay, should I wait? I finish school first, then I can join the family, or should I just move now? But when they came, I spent the time with them, with the son, for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was impossible for me to separate myself from the kid.
So you decide you're relocating. I mean, you're 22 years.
Yes.
And then because you are a campus student now, the process of getting yourself from here to Belgium, tell us about that and the tough decision, even going to tell your family what you've decided. I know as Luyas, taking care of a child, Kwanza, if the woman doesn't want, it's fine. You can even take the child. Luya men, that's a one gift that we love about you, that you will take care of your children.
Yes.
So how did your parents take it? How difficult was that transition?
Yeah, so the school part was the most difficult part for me, because I had to decide to see the options. How was it possible for me to go and continue doing school from there?
Yeah.
So I had to arrange that, but then I had to figure out, because there in Belgium, that's one thing people don't know. They don't speak English.
Hey. What's the language?
In Belgium, there's 2 languages. There is French and there is Dutch or Netherlands.
Okay.
So the only English course is International Business Management. That is for the bachelors.
And that's the only one that's taught in English?
That was the only course that was taught in English. All the rest were in French or in Netherlands. So my course, the film production, was in Netherlands.
So now you abandoned even the course, the dream, what?
Yeah, so that was a big issue, but I really wanted to be in life of my son.
Yeah.
And I knew, okay, in abroad or in Belgium, the opportunities are there, and I will still get the opportunity to go back to school and study.
Yeah.
But for my son, he's growing. It's one time short. So
and if you miss it,
if I miss it, I miss it. So for my family, it was not a problem. I just informed them. It was easy because even for the school, I was self-sponsored. I was sponsoring myself for the school. So it was not like from my parents.
Okay.
So...
Okay, hold up. You're 22 years old. And then you say, oh, I want to just, go to another country and study. I have the money. Kwani, what were you doing before?
Now, that's the thing that most people don't know about Shamala. The streets of Nairobi know Shamala. Most people don't know, but I moved to Nairobi, and I was playing football before.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I really wanted to become a professional footballer.
Oh, wow.
So from the young age, I really gave a lot for football.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Nairobi when I was around 19 to try and pursue the football career. But it wasn't really going well because football doesn't really pay good in Kenya.
In Kenya, yeah.
But then there was no option because I was living with my friends, so you had to pay your own rent.
Hang on. So you move from your parents and everyone, and you come to Nairobi, not that you have family.
No.
You move in with friends.
Yes.
Who are your parents? How did they allow you to just move in? What are you saying?
Yeah, so the thing is, for my parents, we are many kids. We are like 9 of us.
Okay.
So, and I'm the first son.
In that home.
So I have like 4 sisters who are older than me.
Oh, wow.
So as the first son, I just talked to my father and I was like, look, I've finished high school and I want to go out there to try and see how far I can go with football.
Right.
So he was like, okay, my son, if that's what you want to do, I will allow
like
you.
Your parents.
So then I came to Nairobi and things, also the expectations were not as I thought. You're coming from the village.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, in Nairobi, you'll get the chance. It's easy to make money there.
Yeah, which is what everyone thinks.
Yes.
Then and the city gives you character development.
You come here, things are not the same.
Yeah.
Actually, you were living in the ghetto. You were living at Ziwani.
Wow.
That's around Kariako.
Yeah.
So football was not paying, but I was still playing football. So I had to look for something that will give you money. Mm-hmm. And then I started selling credit.
Oh, wow.
At Tomboya Street.
You started selling airtime.
There used to be Tuskys Beba Beba.
Yes.
There's a small kiosk. I passed there the other day, still there.
That was your kiosk?
Yes. So I used to sell credit cards.
How old were you at that time?
I was 19, around 19, yes. I was selling credit cards there to get...
And that's how many years ago, man?
That's many years now. It's almost more than 10 years, So then I was making some small money in the end of the day, but it was not enough still.
Yeah.
But then there's these guys who sell novels on the streets.
Yes.
Now they see there are many of them.
Yeah.
Before it was not so many of them.
Yeah.
So there were 2 guys who were selling just outside my kiosk. Mm-hmm. And then they were asking me like, why can't you come and help us sell the books? Because I used to go outside and read
the books.
And then they were like, this guy knows a little bit of...
so they're seeing how you can help them. Because if somebody asks, what's this book about? It
was exactly like that. Mm-hmm. Their clients will come.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I'm looking for a sci-fi book.
And they may not know.
Yeah, they were just selling the books. They didn't know much about the books. And then I'll be like, I think this one can be good.
So being sharp helps.
Try maybe Nora Roberts and all that. I knew a lot about books then.
Yeah.
So they were like, why don't you come and try and work with us? So then I started working with them.
Meaning extra money.
Yes. But with them, I really made good money. Mm-hmm. It is from that I took myself to university.
Come on now.
Yes.
Come on now.
That's something that most people don't know.
So you're also good at saving. Let's just say.
There was a lot of money. There's a lot of money in the streets.
I don't know if I should go to the streets. I'm just thinking that maybe I should go to the streets.
So that's how it became.
And then that's how you had the money to move.
To university and then to also be able to relocate.
I love that you say that when you met your child, you were like taken by this child. Most men, and it's unfortunately the truth that the majority would have dodged the bullet and been like, okay, the baby's here, but we don't need to be together. Were you guys still in a good relationship? Did you want to be with this woman? Like beyond just saying you're going to be a present father?
Actually, at that moment, our relationship was a little bit shaky.
Okay.
with the baby mama then, because it was a long distance relationship.
Right.
And personally, I felt like also I was still too young to settle. Yeah,
So
that was a big.
yeah, because
That
that
was
was
the.
my question. Like, you moved to Belgium, are you now getting married at 22? I mean, my guy.
Yeah, so that was the problem from my side, because I normally don't see it as a problem, because it was how I felt.
Yeah.
I felt like I still, as a man, you have to find your ways. Like, you need to, career-wise, do you know what you want to do? Is everything
in
in
order,
place or not?
yeah.
So I felt like I was still in a place whereby I'm trying to juggle. Football was not going well, so I went back to school. Then the school is going well again. I might have to leave school because of family life and all that.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit confusing. And
so when you tell her that, obviously she's thinking, excuse me, we're having a baby, we're in a relationship. What's the problem? And actually, to be honest, Europeans get married early.
yes,
and it's not a big deal.
For them, it's actually, for her, she was ready. She wanted
How
us
old
to.
was she?
She was like 5 years older than me.
Oh,
so
okay.
for her, she was
ready.
She was ready. She
Yeah.
felt she was ready to
Yeah.
settle and all that.
Yeah.
But for me, I was like, I still have to see. But then the kid, for me, was everything. I was like, I really want to be present. I want to be in his life. So I had a talk with the mother. And the agreement was for me really to be present and in his life. The best option was for me to move to Belgium. And then I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it.
Let's talk about your expectations. You go to this new country. First thing you've said, you discover that you can't even take the degree that you passed for, and you're switching into something totally different. So there's adjusting yourself to something you're not passionate about, but will get you to be in your child's life. What are the other expectations you had about going out there? You're saying you want to be this dad. I mean, I imagine that even just cultural differences from you being a Luya boy raised in, the village, and now you're in this, not Nairobi, whole new country with a whole new language. What are some of your expectations, and what are some of the things that shocked you?
For the expectations, and this is something that I know most people, we get it wrong.
Yeah.
There's this perception whereby when you go abroad, things are easier.
Of course, we all think that I will go
there it will
now,
be easier
because they have moved ahead doesn't mean that you have.
Yes. So I also had that expectation. That's why it was so easy for me to make the decision.
Right.
I was like, okay, there it's so easy for me to go to school. It's so easy for me there to even still play football.
Yeah.
It was still easy for me I will find my way so easily when I'm there.
Right.
So then, I arrived there, and first of all, the language
barrier.
I'm like, okay, so, and that's the most challenging thing when you're in these countries that they don't speak English, is that most of the things depend on the language.
Right.
So you have to learn the language first
to be able to even
to
operate.
be able even to work, to be able to study.
Even the part-time jobs you can't get if you can't speak the language.
Or you can find some jobs like in the restaurants and all that.
You might.
Those small jobs, you might find them.
Yeah.
But if you really want to do what you want to do, or if you want to advance yourself, number one thing is the language.
So you had to go to school.
Yeah. So now there's the challenge. For me, I was like, okay, when I arrived there, the first thing is, how do I continue with my education?
Right.
And then I asked about the film production course. The option was, but in Dutch or in French. But then the requirement was, I need to have like a certain level of the language
for me to be able to because again, it's university quality stuff. It's not
basic. Yeah. And for you to get to that level, you have to do the language for like 3 years.
Gee whiz. Wow. Okay.
So then I was like, okay, the way it sounds, it means I will have to put education aside first. I have to put some things in order first before I consider. Because the thing, when you're there also, life doesn't stop. I've arrived there, I'm a young father, so I need to provide for my kid.
Right.
I need to provide for myself as well.
Yeah.
And I can't sit and wait. I can't just go to school to study the language.
And then people are wondering, excuse me.
Yes. So you have to help, you have to chip in financially. So the good thing is I was playing football. So I could easily get a football team.
Oh, they were accepting of that.
Yes, because with football is just your talent.
Yeah.
So then with football, I could make some small money here and there.
And how is the effect of this? Because now there's a money, strain. The relationship also has a strain of the fact that you're not ready to get married. You have left, you are living together, I assume. There's a small baby. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
And the effects on the relationship.
So the thing is, when I arrived there, we had the good thing with my baby mama is we were very open to each other.
Okay.
So after I expressed myself, like I felt like I wasn't really ready to settle, we had a talk and we agreed, okay, we are going to live together for like a year or so and see how things are going to be. And then from there, we will see if the relationship will work out or not. There was the small baby, so we also had to prioritize the kid.
Yeah.
So for us, the priority was the kid. So for 1 year, we did good together, and we raised the kid.
Yeah.
But then now, as the boy child, the voice inside was still telling me like, no, you cannot settle now. You are not ready.
So I mean, how do you conduct a relationship when in your mind you're like, we're not going anywhere? I have left home, but I'm only here for this child. And you obviously don't want to spook her because she can also tell you to get out.
Yes. So now that was the big challenge. But the good thing is I had already communicated. So she also saw the way things are going. And actually, after 1 year, after 1.5 years living together, she's the one who said like, okay, I remember very well what she said is like, you're like a bird and it's like, I'm keeping you inside and you want to fly. So it's best I release you to go
fly away.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So then I was like, we had an agreement. Of course, that's another thing with life abroad. If you have a kid, there has to be like a binding agreement. How are you going to take care of the kid?
Oh, that you see now that is so different from how things operate here in Kenya.
Yeah.
I mean, how they make it the law that you must be present and show that you're going to supply for this child.
Yes. So the thing was now we had to get a lawyer and make the agreement how we are going to co-parent. So we did everything with the lawyer. The agreement, as actually I was traveling back to Kenya, it was December.
Right.
And the agreement was when I go back, then we go separate ways. We don't stay together again.
After that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did the agreement with the lawyer, and then there came the biggest surprise again.
What?
After when we were coming from the lawyer, she informed me again she was pregnant with a second child.
Oh, Shamala, you're joking. Oh my goodness. So you're about to end this relationship and then she gets pregnant again.
Yes.
So now we're not talking one baby. We're saying we're separating, but there's two babies.
There's two babies. So that for me, it was a bit of a setback. I can say that because I was confused for a moment. I really had the difficult time that I was going to separate with her and we have a kid together.
Because it means then you're seeing the child is now based on an agreement, timeline, limited.
Yeah, and I didn't really know even how it was going to go because co-parenting thing was new for me and it's a foreign country. I was confused, and then here comes the news. There is another baby on the way.
How was she about this new baby coming? Like, what was her thinking? Because we've just come from the lawyers. We're telling the lawyers that please separate us and give us a plan for one child, co-parenting. But oh, by the way, I'm also pregnant.
I don't really know how. Even until now, if you ask me how that happened, I can't tell.
How did she break it to you even?
Yes, it was actually, we were just coming from the lawyer and she was like, okay, I have to inform you something important as well.
Same day?
Yes, same day. So she explained when she knew she was pregnant, she also didn't know what to do. whether to keep it or not and all that.
And
because
but
there,
she,
they are allowed to
oh
do
yeah,
away with
abortion
the abortion is allowed
allowed
there.
in Belgium.
Yeah, but so she had to inform me, and I was like, it's a child. You mentioned already, Hallelujah, man.
Hallelujah, man. If it's a child, if you don't want to give birth and leave, it's fine. You just give birth.
Yeah, so I was like, it's a child. It's not a disease or something. We
go on.
Don't have a choice. We let the kid come, and we see from there. Wow. And then that was it.
Okay, that's a lot. By that time, how old were you, and how old was the child that you're having now, a second baby
by
coming?
then my first son was 2 years.
Okay.
Because it was after like 1.5 years. So my first son was like 2.5 years.
Okay.
And then for me, then I was like 23 heading 24.
Yeah.
So it was still,
you were still a young guy.
Yes, I was still
You're
young.
still a young guy.
Then I can say I was 24. That December I was turning 24. So
okay, what are some of the lessons you learned? Because you're a young father, you've decided, and I guess, yes, being Luya helps, but it still doesn't prepare you to be a young father. There are some things that are happening that are different and in another country. So what are some of the lessons you learned about this young fatherhood? I mean, and if you had the opportunity, would you do that again or be more careful?
Lessons that I can take with me is I learned the importance of, as a father, you bond with your child between the time that they are born until they're like 2-3 years.
Early.
If you miss that period, it's difficult to really bond with the child as a
real
father.
Bond, real
as a father.
bond, yeah.
With the mothers, it's different, but for the fathers, I learned that period is really important for the father to be there.
Yeah.
Because that's the time that the child really gets to know you.
And they understand, this is my father.
Yes, this is my father. So it was challenging, to be honest. It was really challenging because I had to juggle between my football or my hustling and then being there for the child. There, the thing is, the thing about life abroad, as a parent, you really have to be present. Here in Kenya, or let me say in African culture, the mother really raises the child, and the father provides for the child
and says, you guys are good.
Yes, but there it doesn't work like that.
What, do they have laws? Do they check on you? Do they?
The laws are there, yes, but it also comes, it's a culture for them. It comes naturally.
Okay.
The fathers are really involved from birth. They're really involved with the growth of the child.
Sharing the duties of upbringing.
You have to wake up in the night to feed the child. You have to... Actually, the mothers there, sometimes what they do is they say, because maybe during the day they have spent a lot of time with the child. If the child wakes up in the night, you have to wake up as
so it's like
father.
they clock out, and you clock in.
Yes,
and it's normal.
Yes, it's
so
normal.
You can't go there and say, I'm a father, I'm an African father, I'm sleeping. You are the mother. Here they tell you,
yes.
Do I look like I am the one who has the boob juice? I am not the one with the breast milk. So and even when it comes to the fact that people express milk and whatever, the difficulty for the African mom is, he says, but you're the mother. And in some traditions, even the fathers don't get to see the child until a certain age. It's almost like they'll break the child, so they don't see the child. So culture shock.
Yeah, so that is actually one of the first cultural shock, because you really, as a father, you really have to be present. You have to feed the child, you have to wash the child, you have to do everything the mother does.
Yeah.
And you have to do it like 50-50.
Come on.
Yes, so you have to be there and help the mother, because the mothers they work also there.
Yeah.
Now in Africa it's different also. A lot of women are working and having their careers.
Yeah.
For them there is normal. So, and they give birth, and within few months they're back to work.
And so the duties continue.
And so as the father, we take the child to daycare.
Mm-hmm.
As a father, you'll have to take the child to daycare, and she will pick, or the mother will take the child.
Everything is 50-50.
So everything is shared equally.
Yeah.
And the big challenge for us became, especially for the second child, because we're not living together.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you live, what you do.
You find your way.
If I have to drop the child to the daycare, I will have to find my way
to her place early in the morning.
Yes. Pick the child and go take the child.
And and then go on with your day.
And then go on with your day. And then if you have to, whatever responsibility that you have to do, so that is one of the lessons I learned, is that you have to be, the bonding as a father with your kid is early, and then you become responsible.
Very
For me,
fast.
it was at a very young age, yes, but it made me become responsible, not only as a father, but in general with life, because you have to know, okay, you're not just out there freely, like I'm out there doing my things, but I have at the back of the mind, maybe I have to pick
There
the
are things I
child
need.
from,
they need.
I have to do these.
So you can't even, let's say that means you didn't really become, you didn't do your 20s the way other young people do their 20s.
True.
They
No,
have fun, they're doing A, B, C, D. You didn't get to do that.
That one, I didn't really get to do that because I was really a present father.
Right.
And I remember so many times, it happens until now.
Yeah.
You have plans with your friends, or your friends have plans, but then
you
the same
can't go.
time you have plans with the kids.
So you can't go.
So you're like, okay, I'm sorry,
You
but
have to choose.
I have to, with the kids.
Yeah.
If it's something that I can go with the kids, like now they have grown. My first son is 9 years now. The second one is 7 years.
Yeah.
So if it's something that I can go with them,
you will go with them.
then actually I have to adjust myself to do activities that I can do with them.
Child friendly.
Yes. So then I know myself, I'm also out there doing things, but I'm also
able to spend time with them. So growing up fast, that was
so
the
you
thing.
really grow up fast. You really become responsible, and the importance of bonding with.
So if you were to do this again, like if you could be taken back to that 9 years ago, what would you do differently?
If I will be taken back there, I can say I will be sure of myself, because now after I think through the reasons why I felt I wasn't ready then, I think that really until now I'm still not ready with them. So,
what do you mean you're still not ready with them? So Shamala, surely, what does that mean?
Yeah, because you see, for example, one of the things that I had a problem with was the career. So I felt like my career is not really in place. I really need to put my career in place. But you see, even now, I have a career in place. I work as an electrician because I had to go back to school and do electricity.
Okay.
But still, I'm doing electricity, but I still want, I'm like, okay, I still want to add
do more
on top of this.
So, Bado, you're not ready to get married.
So
Shamala. What's happening?
So you see, if I have to go back then, I'm like, there's so many things. One thing that I will change, I'll do differently, is be sure of myself. I'm like, okay, if it's the relationship, I'm getting to this relationship, I'll be ready in it. I'm not ready, whether I'm ready or not, but I will be ready through the relationship.
Yeah.
Instead of that, like, okay, I'm not ready, let me not do
sure,
it. Let me not, yeah.
So you being sure of yourself is
yes,
an important lesson.
Very important.
And then being pushed to even just be responsible.
Yes.
Now that means you would be knowing that if I'm gonna be with this girl, and here are the consequences, you need to think straight. So are you dating now?
Yes, now I'm dating.
Yeah.
Actually, the relationship has been 3 years now.
Fantastic.
3 years and counting.
And they're okay with your children?
Yes. She's okay with the children. I introduced her to the kids. She has met the kids, so she's okay.
So are we
with
looking forward to a wedding?
Wedding, I can't promise. But
you break my heart.
But yes, I think now I can't say that I'm not going to get married.
Yeah.
Because the fears that I had then, I don't have them now.
You don't have them now.
So for now, I can say, like, okay, if both of us say, okay, it's time, we have to do it,
you're going to do it.
I believe I will do it.
I tell you, some of the fears, because, as a woman, you always want to get into a man's mind. You're a great guy. You had a child and you decided that you're going to be there for your child. You shifted and upended your entire life. And then as a woman, I'd be thinking, this is the perfect man to settle with. Then you come and tell me, I'm afraid of marriage. What? That doesn't make sense. So as you talk to young men, because there are many young boys who would have run away from this responsibility and said, I have my whole life ahead of me. I don't need to be, trapped by this. I can't change and move my entire life to a place first where I can't even speak the language. What would you advise a young guy today, and you can talk to your camera, who gets themselves in a situation where they've made a girl pregnant, what would you advise them?
The first advice I can give to a young man right now who finds himself in such a situation whereby your girlfriend is pregnant or you're having a baby on the way is not to be scared. Because most of the men, I believe, or most of these boys, they run away because they're just scared. It's like they don't know, what am I going to do? They're like, okay, I'm going to be a father, but what is it being a father? What is it that I'm supposed to do as a father? So it is out of being scared that most of them, they go missing in action. So I will tell them, don't be scared. It's a child. I always say this, a child is not a disease. A disease, you can be scared, you don't know, but a child is a child. And a lot of things that you have to know as a young man is you're going to learn. Even if you're taught, even if somebody has told you, even if your parents have told you, you have to be like this and that as a father or as a parent, you will learn every step when you're present as a father. So no need of running away, no need of being scared. Just take up the responsibility. I know the biggest challenge that makes also a lot of men or a lot of boys run away is the financial difficulties. Of course, the children are financially demanding, but if you can be present, I'm sure you will challenge yourself even more to be able to find something that can be able to support the child. So instead of running away, just take up the responsibility, be a present father. You will just find yourself, kwa Kiswahili tunasema unajituma.
You actually become a better man.
Yes, you'll become a better man, more responsible.
Yeah.
You will just find yourself like, okay, I really have to do something to
and you will get
man,
it
and you
done.
will get it done.
So there's no excuse.
No excuse and no need to shy away.
But you know what? Being a father at 22, upending your life, I must say kudos to you. And please continue being the voice of the African boy child. I mean, there are things obviously we may not understand because most men don't tell us. But when you put it out there and you say, this is the situation and this is what you can do better, this is what I went through, then there's another guy out there who's going to learn, you know? And that is encouraging for us here at Conversations with Kalechi, man. Hey, thank you, Shamala. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Lakini, that wedding, that marriage, we are waiting.
Yes.
May I can come to Belgium for the wedding.
You will know. Once it's in place, you will know. I will inform you and
yeah, just work on those fears. I don't think, like, let me put it back to you. Being afraid of being a father, the child is just a child. Even that marriage, what are you afraid of? You will just make it work and you will work harder and things will work out.
And things will work out.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know it's challenging, but for now I can say I'm ready to take it up. I'm ready to face the challenges and see how far it goes. Because also being the voice of an African boy child has somehow enlightened me and pushed me a little bit.
Yeah.
The only problem I have as the voice of an African boy child is when ladies try to say, no, you can do this as a man, you should do this as a man, because only men know why we can't do that or why we do that.
So we're not offering our advice. We're just here to listen. Please educate us a little bit more.
Actually, not even to the most important point there that I can say, just that is the one point I try to put across as the voice of an African boy child. When a man tells you it's ABCD, this is how I feel, this is how I see it.
Yeah.
As a woman, the best you can do for the man is to let the man feel like, okay.
Allow them.
Yes, that's how he feels.
And take it as a feeling. Stop trying to convince him he's not feeling what he's feeling.
Yeah, that statement of like, but you are now a grown up and all that.
So
that's what makes us like, okay.
You have educated me and you've educated our audiences. That is for sure.
Yes.
Shamala, thank you for being here. And I wish you all the best, even as you go back to Belgium. Thank you for even taking the time, because this is our first international kind of show. He's Kenyan, but he's not from here. So yes, it's international because I say so. Thank you, Shamala, for being here. We appreciate you. And one of the best things about representing Africa, because that is what Shamala is doing out there, is that we get to experience different things about what makes Africa and what makes Africans. I would like to appreciate the Africans around the globe who have been watching Conversations with Kaleche, who have been giving us all the shout outs. Thank you for your inboxes, your emails, your comments on the comment section. We appreciate you. And for that, we have received an amazing award nomination. The Africa Podcast and Voices Awards 2024 has nominated Conversations with Kaleche for a relationship podcast for 2024. And I cannot wait just to see us win, because obviously if you vote, we win. So guys, I would love for you to vote. The details are on the screen. You just need to go to the awards.apva.africa/voting site. Click on podcast, click on vote now, key in your email address, scroll to relationships, vote Conversations with Kaleche. It's as simple as that. They only need an email, and you can use as many emails as you like and vote as many times as you like. We need to do this before the 10th of August so that we can hopefully win this award. It will be a big thing for us here in Kenya. So guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for listening. And I'd love to thank Deep Colors for this amazing top. They're the ones who did this for me. Delish Full Service for the makeup. I look pink today. I feel it. Thank you so much. And for you who's watching, if you'd like to be on the show or give us any feedback, please email us conversationswithkaleche@gmail.com, and we will be sure to get back to you. This is where love finds a voice, and I can't wait for our next episode. Thank you for being here. See you.